Hello. Okay. Hello, all. Thank you all for joining. My name is Dara. I'm consultant at Henley and Partners, and today I'm supported with my two colleagues, Thomas Scott, Group Head of Real Estate and member of the Executive Committee, Andrea, Director of Group Processing. Thank you both for joining.
Thanks, Dada. Good to be here. Thanks for hosting us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thank you. Okay, and now we start. For you all, I'm so excited to speak today about the Caribbean Citizenship by Investment programs because, as you already know, like right now as we speak, it is considered as an open door for the most powerful option or the most powerful tools for global mobility in the world. But before we speak and dive deeper into more details, I would like to give you a quick introduction about Henley and Partners for people who are not so familiar with how we proceed. Okay, so Henley and Partners, we've been there in the market for more than 25 years. We have assisted and advised more than 25,000 clients around the globe with presence in more than 70 offices worldwide, which is amazing because actually we also have an access for 40 plus investment migration options. So whatever you need, whatever you can think of, we can support you and we got your back. Additionally, we have also managed to have more than 15 government advisory mandates, during which we contributed for more than $15 billion in the foreign direct investments. And here you can see that we're not just advising our clients in residence and citizenship advisory, but we also provide like complementary services in real estate, education, and concierge. So you can feel free to reach us in any of these fields. We can support you from A to Z. We get everything in place and in-house. Also, for some may inquire how we can support governments. We can do so by supporting them we have managed in doing this in more than one program already, like Nauru, Malta, as you already know, or St. Kitts and Nevis. We have our marks on them all. We help them set up the program, design, promoting it, positioning it for all the public. So for you, as you can see right now, as this slide proves, that we are not just helping you with expertise for more than 25 years in the market, but we also have the connection and insight information in order to get a successful application for each and every applicant. Here is like a brief of how our comprehensive advisory process works. It always starts with knowing our client and knowing our audience, know what you need, what you actually care of, your family composition, everything regarding this objectives. And after this, we managed to have our strategy in hand. Now, then we work on implementing it through multiple and very comprehensive support during the process in order to get you the output that we promised in the first meeting. And this, you can see our footprint in all the world, as you actually can be amazed about how we can be there for you in every, like literally when I said we can be there for you wherever you are, you can see here that we have you backed up in North America, Europe, Middle East, Latin America, Caribbean. Wherever you are, you can just reach us out and we can be there for you. And this is like a quick comparison between residence and citizenship for people who might wonder what is the best solution or what is the best fit during their life-changing decision. Like this is a life-changing decision, I must say. Definitely, we consult you in order to know what is the best for you. But generally speaking, you can be residing in one country, benefiting from living there, working there, traveling through the residency to multiple countries and multiple destinations. But yet, it can be withdrawn somehow and affecting your tax status. But for some people, it can be an added value because they cannot have like the dual citizenship option. But for citizenship, you can also have an access to multiple destinations. You can have the international travel, afford protection from the state, And most of all, it cannot be revoked except for specific cases for sure, but it doesn't affect your tax status except in some countries like USA. And here, as you can see, that there is like, as we are going to speak today about citizenship, this is the most hot topic that we can speak of. Like right now, we're diving deeper in some time on this, but you can see that the reason of alternative citizenship would definitely be under one of these brackets. It's either that you're looking for another opportunity, work opportunity for you, for your kids. You're looking for more education support, like more mobility because your passport doesn't allow you to travel around, to travel to much destinations. Like maybe some passports allow you for 50, 20 destinations. So you need more for your work, for your protection, security. This is all be covered here. As you can see, that as I mentioned earlier, we have an access to more than 40 40 investment migration programs. So basically, after knowing you, as you can see here, there is always an option for you. Like you can see options under Europe, Caribbean, Middle East. We always have an option that can fit your needs and objectives. And now we're going to dive deeper to this Caribbean Citizenship and Investment Program. I would like to start with an overview so you can know that this is like a simple consultation that we can go through with every consultation that we do. This is, as you see here, we have the 5 countries, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Kitts and Nevis, and St. Lucia. Here, the most common question would be the processing time. First of all the government, like the government communicated processing time is 3 to 4 months. But please let me emphasize that this is starting from submitting the application to the government. And with the visa-free access, you can see here that most of them, you can get access to more than 140 countries. It ranges from 140 to 157 on average. All gives you access to Schengen area. Some gives you like an additional access to UK, China, Russia, and except for Dominica, doesn't give an access to UK. And for the minimum real estate purchase, if you decided to do like a real estate purchase, you get it here starting from 200,000. It ranges up to 325. And for the holding period, because it's very important for you all to understand that you cannot purchase the property, get the citizenship, and then sell it out. Because if you would like to maintain it, you have to hold it at least for 5 years. And for some countries, like St. Kitts and Nevis, you have to hold it for 7 years. For the minimum contribution, if you decided to take like a different route, like donating to the government, and it's going to be like a non-refundable contribution, it starts from $200,000, goes up to 250. And now for the physical presence. As we speak right now, Antigua only have 5 days within the first 5 years. This is the physical presence. The other country doesn't have. But it's important for you to know that it's actually under consideration to be adding around 30 minimum stay requirement for the countries, for the other countries. However, it's not yet to be implicated unless maybe for another 6 months from now. For adding your children, as you see here, you can add your children under 31 in Antigua and Dominica and St. Lucia, except for Grenada St. Kitts under 30, and they have to be fully financially independent under the main applicant. Of course, you can add your grandparents if you require in Antigua, Dominica, Grenada. St. Kitts and St. Lucia doesn't allow it. And for siblings, you can see here that you can add them in 3 countries, but it comes with conditions. So for example, in Antigua, you can add them at any age, but they have to be unmarried. For Grenada, they can be added at 18 years old or older, but they have to be unmarried and without children. And for St. Lucia, they can be added, but under 18, and they have to be financially dependent on the main applicant, which is very important. You can see here that you can also get, you can be eligible for the E2 visa treaty after being domiciled in Grenada for 3 years, consecutive 3 years. And for some people, they are very important and they're keen on the healthcare. So if this is your call, then you would definitely go for Grenada or Saint Lucia or Saint Kitts and Nevis. And now let me take each country like on a more in-depth view. Here, for beach lovers, like this is a call for beach lovers, for all the people that are very interested in laying on the beach whole day long. Antigua is the country for you because, as you know, Antigua has more than 365 beaches. So it's one beach you can try each day actually for the year. And here, as you can see, its population is 101,500. Language spoken there is English, Antiguan Creole, and economy is tourism-based for sure. The currency that they are using is Eastern Caribbean dollars. However, I must say that the US dollar is widely used. The benefit that you can get for sure is being able to travel to more than 150 destinations. You can always add your children under 31 as long as they are dependent on the main applicant. And for parents and grandparents over 55, they can be included as well. Also, it has a great, excellent air links to North America and Europe, so it's a great beach destination, if you can say. Here, for the financial requirements, you can get the citizenship through either donating to National Development Fund for a minimum non-refundable amount of $230,000, or if you wish, this is going to be for single applicant or a family of 5. But if this is like a family of 6, then the contribution would be $260,000, and it's going to go for the University of the West Indies. Also, I have to say, like the next option, it's not very common. However, you have to know that if you even want to insure or you want to have your business set up there in Antigua and you decided to relocate, for example, for good, then you can do this using having like a minimum investment of 1.5 million or $400,000 for a joint purchase for a total amount of $5 million. And the last thing would be definitely the real estate, and it's very common there as well. It starts from $300,000, and Tom will take us through the all details and the projects there. Handing over to you, Tom.
Yeah, thanks, Nada. So as Nada highlighted there, real estate is one of the qualifying investment options. It continues to be a popular investment option across all the 5 Caribbean programs, but in Antigua Barbuda, there are some good real estate projects. As mentioned, the projects generally have to be approved by the government, which is great from an investor point of view. You know that they're a qualified project, and if you invest in it, it's aligned and it's going to tick the necessary boxes for your citizenship application. And one of the projects we want to speak about here is a fractional villa. And Nada, can you go on to the next slide? Is a fractional villa in Antigua. Many colleagues have been and visited, and many clients actually have been and visited this project in Antigua. It's a big 3-4 bedroom villa. It's part of a 36 villa development. 50% of in fact, over 50% now of the villas have been sold, and 8 of them have been fully completed and constructed. And they're actually hopeful that anticipate that the construction will be complete of all 36 villas in the next year. Some clients have chosen to invest outright and have bought a villa completely. So they bought in sort of $1.4, $1.5 million. But the product itself at the $300,000, if you go back one slide, Anna, is at $300,000. That's the minimum investment threshold for real estate. And that gets you a fraction. So a fractional owner, if you want, of this villa. The villa is owned in a limited company, and that limited company holds the title deed, which is important, makes it viable for the CBI program of Antigua. And it's in a fantastic location in Jolly Harbour. Jolly Harbour, if you've been to Antigua, you'll know is an established, but it's also under a huge amount of reinvestment and rejuvenation. It's quite a happening part. It also is great because there's many local Antiguans that also buy and like real estate in Jolly Harbour. So it's not just for tourism. This product is sort of fully complete. It comes with furniture and it can be, there's a sort of there is a usage option. So an investor here gets, because you're one of 5 or 6 investors in the villa, depending whether it's a 3 or 4 bedroom villa, you can use your 8 weeks of allocation a year, which rotates different times a year from in different years, or you can simply put it into the rental pool and collect your rental return. We've got a really well-established rental management team there, and this developer actually has multiple projects across Antigua. So they really know what they're doing from a rental management point of view. So yeah, and one nice thing is that the shares, the fractions are sold sequentially. So the developer really wants to avoid a situation where a couple of fractions are sold in one villa and a couple in another villa. So they sell out a villa completely before they move on to the sales on the next one. And yeah, it's a great developer with a great track record, an exciting product, and it's proved really popular this year. And yeah, thanks, Nada. That gives a little overview, I think, of a great and popular project in Antigua.
Thank you so much. That was very thorough. Let's go for now for nature lovers, Dominica. So Dominica actually contains the largest boiling lake in the whole world, which is a great tourist destination there. So yeah, you can keep track on this. Its population is 75,000 and the language spoken there is English. The economy purely agriculture and tourism based, and the currency used there is Eastern Caribbean dollar. Again, US dollar is widely used there as well. And for the benefits, you get to have an access to over 140 destinations. You can definitely add your spouse and children under 31 who are fully dependent. This is a very important point on the main applicant. Parents and grandparents aged 65 and older can be included as well. Citizenship by descent is available for future generations, and right to live, work, and study in Dominica, and there are no restrictions on dual citizenship in Dominica, and no minimum stay requirement as we speak as well. And for the financial requirements, you can have the citizenship by either a non-refundable contribution with a minimum value of $200,000. Actually, this is for a single applicant, or $250,000 for main applicant and family of 4 mainly, and adding 25 for each dependent aged 18 or more, or $40,000 for each dependent aged 18 and older, under 18 for $25,000 and 40 for aged 18 and older. And you can get there too by having a real estate investment to $100,000, and it has to be there for 5 years as a holding period. And for the Grenada, and actually this is for spice lovers as well, because it's one of the top producing countries. I think that I'm giving you like one tip on each country, so please keep track on this. And its population is 114,300. Language is English, and economy is tourism based for sure. Currency is Eastern Caribbean dollar, and US dollar is still widely used. Its main benefit, one of the main benefits is definitely you can get over 140 destinations, but one of its advantages is that you can get the E2 investor visa treaty, as we mentioned, for a non-immigrant investor visa after being domiciled for 3 consecutive years. And you can always add your spouse and children under 30, unmarried siblings over 18, as mentioned earlier, no restrictions on dual citizenship as well, and no minimum stay as we speak. For the financial requirements, you can, first of all, you can do like donation of 235 to the National Transformation Fund for single applicant and family of 4, or you can do the real estate investment starting 270, and actually for both options, an additional 25,000 applies for each family member after the 4th. 50 for each parent and 55 for 50K for each parent aged 55 and more, and $75,000 for each qualifying siblings. And for Grenada real estate, I'll hand over to Tom.
Thanks. Yeah, so we're going to highlight one project in Grenada. It's sort of been the flagship real estate project for the last year or so. It comes from a developer that's already built the only internationally branded hotel in Grenada, which is the Six Senses Resort, right next to where this hotel and hospitality project is. And yeah, it's proved popular. I think the Six Senses had 650 investors, and this project has just over 1,000 investors. They're actually into the final 10% of sales. The purchase price is $270,000, which, as you remember from the slide earlier, is the minimum real estate investment amount in Grenada. This product is not actually a title deed like some other projects, but is a share. So you get a share certificate in a hospitality company, which linked to the hotel. So it's the operating company. It is compliant with the Act, the CBI Act of real estate in Grenada. And yeah, it's a popular model. It allows for a passive and a hands-free, sort of a hands-off and hands-free type model. The investor, the developer gives each investor 1 week's free stay per year in this hotel. It's due to be completed by the end of next year, 2026. If you qualify for citizenship prior to that, then the developer is happy for you to stay in one of their other hotels, whether that be the Six Senses in Grenada or another development that they have, and 5-star hotel that they have built in St. Kitts and Dominica. So the developer's got a great track record. The developer, as I said, gives you a 1 week free stay per year, and they also offer $54,000 of upfront rental income. So rather than getting a percentage of the rental pool or so, or a forecast or an unknown amount, they offer an upfront rental of $54,000, which is pretty attractive. And then follow after the 5 years, which just also happens to be the holding period, then you would automatically switch into the rental pool, but also have the option to exit or sell if you wanted to. As you can see from the image here, this is a large, substantial, hotel. It's part of the IHG group, which is a publicly listed hospitality company, probably one of the biggest in the world. And there's just over 100 shares available. It's a great project. It's in a great part of Grenada, La Sagesse, and it's proved popular. So yeah, I can take any more further questions at the end, but that's a sort of top line summary of this project.
Thanks, Tom. And now moving to St. Kitts and Nevis. Okay, St. Kitts and Nevis, you can see that it's quieter than the other islands. The population there is 55,000. The language is English, and the economy is driven by tourism, real estate, and financial market sectors. The currency is Eastern Caribbean dollars. Again, the US dollar is widely used as well. The key benefits that you can get is to travel to over 150 destinations. Citizenship by descent is available for future generations as well. And you can see here that you can include your spouse, children, but children under 30, because this is what This was amended recently, actually, as mentioned earlier, under 30, and parents aged 55 and over. And for sure, it's an attractive location to have like a second home because, as I mentioned, it's a very quiet there. If you can count the population, you would find that the monkeys there are actually quite more. No minimum requirement, as we say right now. And for the financial requirements, you can see here that you can get the citizenship by non-refundable contribution to the Sustainable Island State contribution of 250 for a family of four, and additional 50 for each dependent over 18, and additional $25,000 for each dependent over under 18 years old. And a minimum non-refundable contribution of $250,000 can be done as well to the public benefit unit. And for sure, the real estate investment can be done starting $325,000. And over to Tom again. You're mute.
Yeah, thanks. So St. Kitts and Nevis has certainly had a big bounce back in terms of applications and client demand in the last year. And this real estate project specifically for us has been very popular with our clients. It's one of the great things about this project is it's a phase 3 of an already established and very well-known hotel and resort in St. Kitts, and these villas are already built. Its product actually is exclusively to Henley, and the developer behind it has really got the CBI investors in mind. So it's a cleverly crafted product. The villas are very luxury and high end. They cost sort of in excess probably of $5 million if they're to be bought outright, and as a result, they've been able, and some villas have been bought outright by CBI investors, but the developers crafted this product, which is a fractional villa ownership, coming in at the minimum investment requirement of $325,000. An investor gets a title deed for that. It's very much a tried and tested product and popular, and a CBI compliant. Not in phase 1 or 2, the product was not this villa. They had smaller units, they had outright ownership, but these villas and phase 1 and 2 sold out. Clients have exited, clients have held on, enjoyed the rental returns, and this product is quite new. But as I said, one of the real advantages is this product is built. It feels very low risk. Clients can get a rental return from day one. And if we just go back one slide, what the developers cleverly done is they've said that given a couple of options for rental or for usage. So if a client wants to have usage of this luxury villa, 3-4 bedroom villa, then they can have 12 days a year and just pay a nominal maintenance fee of $100 a month. Or they could put the villa into the rental pool and be fairly hands-off and just allow the rental management and operating company Royal St. Kitts Hotel Management Incorporated to maximize the return on investment, the rental, and then they would share that rental to the investor, and you get it per year a payout. Or if a client would like not to have to work with forecasted returns or potential returns and wants perhaps a guaranteed return up front, the developer will do a guaranteed rental return up front called a leaseholder for $50,000. So that can literally be the week or two after you invest in the property. You can get your 7 years rental return up front. And then further to that, what the developer has said is it's offered a buyback. So for those investors that may want to exit after 7 years, they have offered a buyback of $130,000. Now, I acknowledge that is less than the purchase price, but during that 7-year period, there will have been hopefully some generous, good rental return. It would have been maintenance, and all costs would have been absorbed by the developer. So it really would have been a passive, but rewarding financially rewarding investment. And if you do the maths, and we can help with that, the calculations of to compare it against what the contribution amount would be for the SISC, which Nada went through earlier. When all is said and done, after 7 years, if you've taken your rental return and this buyback from the developer, because the developer would like to own this product again, because it's a good revenue generating product, with the buyback of $130,000, the client, you as the investor, would have paid significantly less than the outlay of the donation. So you would have paid more initially in order to buy real estate than doing the contribution option, but with the returns and the buyback, after 7 years, it would be significantly less. And yeah, this developer, we can do the next slide, has a really strong track record, completed product, sort of very well-known project in the Caribbean and in St. Kitts. It's not just residential and it's not just hospitality product this developer has. They own some commercial units and a supermarket and some office space, all in the area of the development, and have invested over $20 million in the last 3 years, in not including these villas that they've already built. So, and not, as we all know, with real estate, location's very important, and this location here in Frigate Bay is as good as it gets when it comes to St. Kitts and Nevis. So an exciting project which has proved very popular.
Thanks, Tom. Actually, it's one of the best projects right now, I must say, and it's very popular and very common for people who would like to take like a second home for them. And now for St. Lucia. And actually, you'd be amazed to know that it's the only country named after a woman, St. Lucy of Syracuse. And actually, it's quite larger than the other islands. It's of population of 168,000. Language spoken is English and French Creole. Economy is tourism based, and the currency used there is Eastern Caribbean dollar. For sure, again, I must emphasize that the US dollar is widely used. The key benefits that you can get is having a visa-free to over 140 destinations, including Schengen area, Hong Kong, Singapore, and UK. And you can include your spouse, children under 31, siblings under 18, and parents aged 55 and above. No minimum stay requirement as we speak. Attractive program, as actually it's very common for some nationalities, and dual citizenship is recognized as well. For the financial requirement, as you can see here, that you can have a minimum real estate purchase of $300,000, and you can, of course, its minimum holding period is 5 years, as mentioned earlier. You can also have an investment in an approved enterprise project of $250,000, and non-refundable contribution can be done to the National Economic Fund of $240,000. This is for family of 4, and $20,000 would be added for each dependent over 18. $10,000 would be added for each dependent under 18. And actually, this is the only country which is offering government bonds. So this is a very attractive option for people who would like a safe investment, but non-interest bearing for sure. It starts from $300,000 and $50,000 as administrative fee. Holding period for sure is 5 years, same as real estate. And now for the Q&A, I hope you wrote a lot of questions, because we're ready to talk you through all of your questions. Let me see here. We have the current administration is exploring the prohibition of dual citizenship. How would this impact an investor? So Andrea, if you can help us with this.
I'm really not familiar with the prohibition of dual citizenship right now, but anyhow, if this happens, every investor will have to, of course, probably this will not be good for the programs, but dual citizenship is allowed now for every Caribbean countries. So for now, we don't have more information on this, and how this impact investors. I don't quite know, because they will probably have to make sure that their offer is more attractive than probably. This is my assumption, and I don't know.
Okay.
Tom, do you
Yeah, I
have
mean,
any like?
well, I haven't heard that there's any firm conversation happening in that regard. So I think it's just speculation.
I
Yes.
I would agree to this. And actually, for Dominica, Tom, if there's like an option for real estate available for 200,000, like a specific number.
In Dominica, we know of two real estate programs, projects there. One starts at 220,000, the other at 250,000. The one at 250,000 is resales, so there may be some level of negotiation with the seller. I don't know of any product at 200,000, but please do get in touch. I know we haven't covered Dominica real estate. The Dominica program is not as popular for clients at Henley Partners as the other Caribbean CBI programs, but if we can see your name, and I think we can see your contact details here, so we'll gladly follow up with those real estate projects post Zoom.
Yeah, because actually he was, I don't see his name right now, but he was inquiring because why would someone go for non-contribution or non-refundable contribution if he can get the chance to have real estate options? So if there's like a catch or something that you can advise on the real estate
So
part.
really, if you get a quote from us, almost across all five of the Caribbean CBI programs, on average for a family of four, the real estate application is going to cost about approximately $75,000 more than what the contribution option is. So you got to ask yourself, why would I pay $75,000 more? And I would only probably do that if I felt the real estate project was good, safe, and I was going to at least make that $75,000 back, either from rental return or capital appreciation, or hopefully make all of my initial capital outlay for the real estate back. Because the contribution option, to be clear, is popular for some people, but it's a zero return. It's a contribution, very hassle-free, but it's zero return. So you are not getting any return. Whereas the real estate projects, we've been very selective about which real estate projects we would introduce to our clients. We take the time to delve into them, and we like to give our clients an option or choice, and certainly have the opportunity to look at them to have the agreement to meet with the developers, and all of our developers and partners, real estate partners we work with, are very happy to have a call and a Zoom call, or any prospect to meet to go and visit. But yeah, for those that are willing and okay to pay circa $75,000 more than the contribution, I think it's a sound financial investment in general.
Okay. And actually, another question, Tom, that you can support in, it's regarding, can you talk about the option of private purchase of condo in St. Kitts and Nevis? What properties fall under this category? Can it be any condo?
No, it can't be any condo. It's a good question. It's a great question. And one that I almost wish was a little bit of a different answer, but we've got, and it's why it's really worth getting really good and sound advice is, for one or two of the programs, you can buy open market real estate. However, you've got to make sure that you go through all the hoops and checks and balances to make sure that property is actually going to qualify for citizenship by investment. So, for example, it might be in Antigua that some resales of a CBI project that maybe someone bought 7, 8, 10 years ago might qualify still, or a certain geography of the island and country might still qualify for CBI if it's a villa or a condo. But we would hate for any client of ours, and we would not allow it or do everything to prevent it for them buying a property which did not qualify for the program. And it has happened I've heard of it happening in the past. And in sync kits, if someone wants to buy a sort of open market property, which might be listed with a brokerage or someone there, it's the seller of that property has to actually seek approval from the Citizenship by Investment unit to ensure that anyone that buys it would qualify for CBI. So again, there's some intricacies there. Got to be careful that that the condo or the property you see, regardless of the price, even if it's worth $1, $2, $3 million, we've got to do a lot of checks to make sure that that property would actually qualify as your CBI investment.
Okay. And actually, someone writes, can you comment on with regard to delays on processing these applications in Lucia? Actually, this is quite unclear. Like, did you process your application through us or not? Because actually, I wouldn't say that we can comment on application that wouldn't that were not processed through Henley and Partners. If this is like a specific question.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can say that of the
Mm.
of the 5 programs, the trend that we are seeing from our clients is that St. Kitts and Nevis and Grenada have the fastest or the most efficient processing times at the moment. And you know, this sometimes goes in cycles. That's not always the case. It sometimes is that a program has peaks in demand and then the processing time slow down, or they introduce some new documents or some new requirements or even some new systems such as online interviews, etc. And that can cause some of the units to then experience some delays and have a bit of drag. But yeah, St. Kitts and Nevis and Grenada, I think it's fair to say, are the 2 programs in the Caribbean that are the most efficient on processing for our clients right now.
Definitely. And another question for you, Tom, actually, please speak about the typical ways an investor would exit their real estate investment. For example, you mentioned a buyback option, but where the amount is less than the original investment, can investors exit in other ways? How successful are those exits? Do most exits result in a loss, or are exits possible at face value or premium to the original investment?
Yeah, so obviously the price which is achieved to exit is determined by the market and the market at that time, whether that be 5 years or 7 years time. But yeah, there's lots of examples of successful exits for real estate, and that's why you've got to be really careful and specific and do your research about which real estate project you do buy into, you do invest in, and have confidence about the exit. I mean, I think quite rightly, a lot of investors always ask a lot of questions and seek a lot of comfort about the exit, but it's actually quite amazing that how small the percentage is of investors that do actually exit when they get to the holding period. Most of them tend to be happy with their investment, or they like collecting 3, 4, 5% rental return in US dollars into a local bank account, or they use the property. But yes, you know, to go back to the point, there's one developer we presented today that does do the buyback. And that buyback is less than the original investment amount, but the sort of calculation to do is that still a better investment for me and my mindset than doing the contribution route with a 0 return? And if it comes to $80, $90, $120,000 cheaper over a 7-year period than doing the contribution route, then you may well decide that that's a more exciting option. And then it sort of depends how much a client uses some uses the property or what rental return they get from it, because as we know, a number of our US clients like to actually stay 8 weeks in their property in Antigua, so you know, a year or 4, 5, 6, 8 weeks, or some may relocate there, in which case you are less worried about the rental return because you're actually staying in the property. But the long and short of it is that there is always a secondary market. It might be a CBI investor that is similar to your shoes in 5 years' time, who wants to buy a CBI approved real estate product. And providing that the minimum investment threshold hasn't changed, and in fact, it's more likely to go up than anything, there should always be a secondary market, because the next CBI investor will be able to purchase your real estate product. So yeah, and of course, it's a real piece of real estate. So after the holding period, if you want to exit, it will not jeopardize your citizenship. And there's always, if something's got value or a rental return, there's always going to be a secondary market for it.
Okay. Another question on real estate as well. In terms of real estate investment, the issue of the amount of hurricane that hits the islands, the risk of real estate is very high due to the damage that can happen. Can you comment on this, Tom?
Yeah, so I should imagine that all developers have their insurance in place for all the projects that we were presented today. There's no maintenance cost, there's no annual cost, there's no body corporates or homeowners associations costs for the investor. That's all taken care of by the developer or the operating company. And if someone's guaranteeing you a rental return or giving you a lease back, then it kind of doesn't matter too much what the performance is, or if there is a hurricane, worst case scenario in that period, because you've got your upfront lease back, or you've got your rental return. But the developers all have insurance, and the developers or even the rental management program, they will do everything in their best interest upfront to be safe, secure, because they want the properties values to go up and they want the rentals to go up. If you're a property management company as well, you will always be aligned with an investor of trying to get the maximum return and the most amount of people staying in that hotel unit or in that condo. But yeah, it's I know insurance from hurricane has gone up in recent years, but I don't think there's any product that we presented today or any developers that we introduce clients to where that sort of actually is a risk that is going to hit the investor's pocket at any point, should it happen.
Okay. Another question is, if we want a second home, can we buy a fractional share in a qualifying property and a second non-qualifying property? I don't see the reason of not doing this, but Tom, can you comment on this? Is there something that you can?
Yeah, I think I understand the question. So if you want a second home, in the country where you've done CBI, say Antigua or say St. Kitts, can you call that property? You could stay in that property, depending on what the rental program you sign up to, or you may not sign up to the rental program. You can probably stay in your property as much as you want. Or you could also, it has been that some clients have done the contribution route in the past, and then when they've got citizenship, they've visited the country more and more, and they bought an open market property, and which has none of the restrictions of the CBI real estate, because it's not geographically bound, or it doesn't have to be a hospitality product. But yeah, many, not the majority, but several clients that we know have acquired real estate product in the Caribbean and used it as a second home, or even as their primary home, or chosen not to rent it out. And there are some fantastic properties to call home or to be super proud of in the Caribbean. So I wish I had a second home there.
We always the same, actually. And for another question, does CBI eligibility of a property change over time? That is like, if I purchase a CBI property, will it still be eligible for the next buyer upon exit?
Yeah, per the act of the and the regulation, yes, for across the 5 programs, I think that's the case, for all of them, and it might even be multiple times, so a second purchaser and a third purchaser. And I think in some ways that also speaks to about protecting the investment value, is that if you've bought a property for $325,000 and you want to sell it after the holding period, if the next client, if the next purchaser is seeking the CBI, investment and an alternate citizenship as well, then they're going to have to pay the minimum threshold, which we don't have a crystal ball, but of whether the certain governments are going to change that minimum real estate investment, but I should imagine it will only go up. But that is some peace of mind or safeguarding to know that if you're going to sell it to a secondary client who wants also doing CBI, that they're going to have to pay the minimum investment amount as well.
Okay. And for another, do any other CBI programs allow for open market real estate purchases besides St. Kitts and Nevis? And do any other CBI programs allow for full ownership of a property as opposed to fractional ownership?
Yes, in Antigua, we've had a few clients that have sort of found an open market property, if you want, quite often in excess of $2-3 million, and you can apply to the government and the CBI unit to say, before I go ahead with purchasing this property, I want to make sure that it will qualify me, and it's largely because we want to spend some time in the country, or we want to live there, so that application can be made. For the St. Kitts has a different threshold for open market for sort of full title regular real estate. If you want, it's $600,000. And as mentioned, the seller of that property, has to apply to make sure that it will be CBI approved. And then the other countries, Dominica, Grenada, and St. Lucia, no, an open market property currently doesn't qualify.
Okay. Out of all these options, any country has an option to liquidate partial investment for any emergencies? I believe this is before the minimum holding period. Yeah, leave this question.
Yeah, I mean, once you own an asset, whether it be property or otherwise, you can do with it as you want, or as permitted. So you could sell it, but I think the whole point of the holding period is that if you sell it before the holding period, you jeopardize your citizenship.
Exactly. Okay. Do we have to invest in determined real estate investment programs to gain citizenship? Is there the possibility to buy any kind of property in the island and have 100% ownership of it?
I think we've sort of covered that.
Yeah.
On each website for the individual CIUs, they do list the approved developments. But however, there are, with regards to the point of 100% ownership, there are a lot of developments, or in fact, all the developments we mentioned today, you don't have to do a fractional ownership at all. You can buy an outright ownership. It just quite often that's going to be above the minimum investment. So yeah, we've had clients that have bought the fractional villa ownership that we showed you in Antigua. We've had 3 clients that have bought outright villas there. Because rather than having 5 or 6 fractions, the clients bought for $1.3 million upwards. So they have total ownership and no other fractional owners of that. And similar in St. Kitts, we've also had clients, and recently in Grenada as well, clients who have bought outright. Grenada, there is a product, we didn't present it today. It's a 2 or 3 bedroom condo, but it starts from $650,000. So yes, you can have 100% ownership, but given the quality and the cost to build, it's more likely to be higher than the minimum threshold of.
Okay. Thank you, Tom. And I believe, Andre, you can support in this. If I were to spend most of my time actually living in one of on one of these Caribbean countries after getting my citizenship, which country has the most developed financial services industry to support me in holding and managing my investment portfolio using a holding corporation that would also be incorporated in the country? Is there something that you can comment on?
It's almost a bit of an unfair question for Andrea.
Unfair, really.
It's very actually intense question.
Yes, and we can certainly, of course, if you wish to apply for any particular program, we can explore these options and tailor on your needs. Really, I would
Exactly. I would
We get
suggest
some
that you
external
just
advice as well.
be
exactly.
yes,
We can
of
definitely
course.
suggest. We have more than 200,000 partner around the globe. So whatever field that you may need support in, we can definitely back you up. But please reach out to me and we can definitely arrange a quick chat over this.
Yeah, and I think all of the questions today, I know some still keep coming in, but we don't want to go too much. I mean, we can reply to all of the questions or send follow-up questions as well. I mean, we can cover one or two more, but I think we could anyone that's asked a question will follow up with a direct response in the
Yes,
the
I
coming
already
days.
answered a couple of questions related to the processing, so we are here to support you. So if you have any other questions, you see Nada's contact details. Maybe we can answer some of the questions who are based on the personal needs of our potential clients.
Yeah, I can. I'm checking here.
There's one question
What does
saying that does a dual citizenship mean that you have to restrict you to just two citizenships, and no, it doesn't in general. There's a question about E2 applications for the USA via for Grenada Citizenship. We have a couple of great partners that we introduce and work with regarding the E2 applications, and have had clients and investors that have been successful in that.
Yeah. So please, you can reach out to us and you have my contact details here in the screen, on the screen. You can reach out to me and we can support you on your specific requirement. And here's like another question, as in I'm US citizen and Portugal, I can still get St. Lucia for sure. It doesn't mean that you only need to get dual, doesn't mean only two citizenship. And what does the administrative aspect of the process involve aside from the real estate purchase or donation? Actually, if you need like a full quotation, I would say that please reach out to me directly. I will send it out. I will send it over shortly, and we can have a quick chat if needed.
That's
The
it all
UK,
covered, I think.
yeah,
Yes.
I think almost all covered with regard delays. Yeah. And regarding our cost, because here is a question, how much does it cost to have Henry assist a family making a cash investment to get a citizenship in Grenada? Let me tell you something that there is no specific number I can say because I need more information regarding how old are the dependents, including the application. So please reach out to me. I'll share a detailed quotation for you as needed.
Yeah, the cost of an application depends on the family makeup and the number of applicants, and we can
Exactly.
always quote it accordingly, and at the same time guide you through what documentation is required and what the process and timelines would look like. So definitely get in touch, and we can break that all down for you.
Exactly. And for Russian citizens, please reach out to me and I'll explain. And because I know regarding your situation, it's quite complicated, but let me assure that there are multiple options that we can support with, but please reach out to me and I will support you accordingly. And I believe there's only one question left. I'm a UK citizen over 60, CEO of my company. I'm considering the Caribbean program. I want to know about the tax exposure will be and would it be advantageous giving the UK stance on IHT and corporate tax?
Yeah, well, the answer is, in general, the Caribbean programs and countries we've spoken today are more tax favorable environments than the UK. However, we have a tax consultant that we're very happy to set a call up with you, a free consultative call to discuss specifically, because there's nuances within each program and each jurisdiction, and then also probably depends, as we all know, the UK inheritance tax and corporate tax situation has been quite fluid and changed even as much as recent as last month with the budget. But we can tell you what the tax implications or regimes are in each program, but it definitely merits a separate conversation.
Okay, and we have another question. If I decide to invest in the program and want to spend a lot of time in the Caribbean, am I able to move my financial affairs to Caribbean away from the UK? This is
So again, that's
general.
yes, you are essentially, but I don't want to go on record by giving you advice about tax advice about sort of financial emigration from the UK. And again, like the previous answer, we can set up a call with our tax advisor at Henley and Partners and begin that, give you some top line information, and also begin a consultative process with you, because there are a few moving targets in that question, but we're happy to help you.
Perfect. I believe now there's no further questions left. So thank you all for joining and thank you for participating in the questions. Please reach out to me anytime. I would love to support you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, everyone. Have a good evening.
Thank you.